Most of us live from a relationship to a relationship, never alone, never taking the time to be alone, to learn about ourselves, to be solo, to tune into ourselves, to figure out what our life is about. What are we about? Who am I? Until the age of 34, I was always in a relationship. From the time I started college, I was always with someone, one after another, long-term or long-term, until I reached that age and I was like, well, wait a second, who am I? I don't even know anymore. It's always the togetherness of doing things together, friends together, experiences together. What do we want to, it's always we. What do we want to do today, this weekend, whatever. And I lost myself in all of that. And that was the time of my, I think, my biggest breakthrough. The truth is, most people don't ever give themselves the chance to be alone. They go through life just like I did, and what kind of is expected from you, basically from the society, is to finish college, find that relationship, have family and kids, and live your life, live through your life. But very rarely it is the case that we, as human beings, by the time we're 20, we know what we're doing or what we want or who we are. We just began our life. We just went through the puberty. We are no longer teenagers, and we just entered our adulthood, our adult life. And at that time, we don't know who we are yet. We don't know what we want. We go by what other people want from us, our parents, the society, the culture, or what we think we should do because we don't know yet what we want or who we are. And it's impossible to know that at that age. But by the time you're 25, 30, you're already in a long-term relationship, potentially with kids, and that's it. That's what you do. That's who you are. Meanwhile, you have never had a chance or given yourself a chance to look into yourself, to go through and resolve your traumas, your childhood traumas, your past life traumas, your ancestral traumas. And likely you're in a relationship living out one of your traumas, really. You bonded with someone based on your trauma from childhood and without even knowing it. And then you go ahead and pass it on to your kids as well. Of course, none of this is your fault, but the awareness of what we are doing is key. And for me, that happened when I was 34, which is 14 years later, after having all those relationships. Only when you're alone, you can truly and deeply work on yourself. Why? Because you're not entangled with other people. Your energy is clean. You don't have someone affecting your energy, your thoughts, your behaviors. Your thoughts are clean. Your mind, body, and spirit all work together and are focused on you. Whereas when you're with someone, and especially when you're living with someone, it is very hard to work on yourself and to be with yourself. It's possible though, but it's hard. And you don't know, it's hard to discern what are your thoughts, what are their thoughts, what is your energy, negative energy, for instance, versus what's their energy, and whether that energy is affecting you. In our daily lives, we're also very disconnected from ourselves in other ways. We don't ever want to be lonely, so we entangle ourselves in relationships so that we can feel less lonely. And we also attempt to continuously and constantly be connected through social media, through our phones, through our tablets, to our laptops, through different apps. But we still feel utterly lonely and alone. And that is because we're disconnected from ourselves. We're disconnected from our true home, which is within us. When I was 34 and I ended my last long-term relationship, I somehow knew that I needed to be alone, and it was the time. And it was by me asking the question, who am I, and what do I like? What do I like to do? What do I love to do? What kind of friends would I have by myself without him? And I thought, okay, I need to be alone for a little while to figure out who am I and work on myself a little bit. That little bit ended up being 8 years. So um, it's what I needed. It's exactly what, because one thing led to another. From me talking to a therapist, to me realizing, okay, there is a lot more that I need to heal or get into outside of therapy. So I connected with my inner child. I started meditation. I went into Buddhism and shamanism. I went into my past lives. I went into hypnosis, energy work, energy cleaning, and that all took all of that time. And of course, it doesn't mean that everyone is the same or that everyone needs the same amount of time. Nevertheless, though, it's very important that we find the time, even if that is 10-15 minutes a day, to be with ourselves alone, without anyone interrupting our energy flow or our thoughts and our connection with ourselves. The connection with others in our relationships and with others through social media is an illusion. It's an illusion of the modern times, because you cannot connect with others before you have connected with yourself. And most of us don't connect with ourselves. Meanwhile, we are constantly searching to connect with others so that we don't feel lonely, but true feeling of fulfillment and happiness comes from being with ourselves. That is our true home. We often think that, oh, my home is, I don't feel well because my home should, I don't feel that this is my home. I should live in Costa Rica or Thailand. I should move there and then get this house. And then when that happens, I'm going to be happy. But that's just a geographical location that you're moving your same self into, the same self that hasn't worked on yourself, that hasn't really worked through your anger, your anxiety, your sadness, your guilt and shame from the past, from your childhood. And so it's not going to work. Moving yourself to another location without truly actually looking deeply into yourself and working on yourself is not going to help you feel better or feel less lonely. The only true home is within ourselves, is here, is in you. And connecting with your true home is actually simpler than you think. You need 10-15 minutes a day to have solitude, to be alone, to sit with yourself in meditation, and to sit with your feelings, connect with your inner child, sit with your feelings of anger, guilt, shame, fear, and be with those emotions. And you can start by 10 minutes a day and have a daily practice. See how your life transforms within a month, 6 months, or a year. Stay well, my friend, and I hope this is helpful. Leave me in the comments what your story is and if I can help in any way, and we'll talk soon.